What is up, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. In these videos, you'll learn how to use technical analysis to forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. Before we dive into the analysis, just a quick reminder that everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. All right, so we're going to try and make a quicker video today. Right now, if we're looking at the monthly time frame, we really are seeing some increasing bull volume here, and we're going into the monthly candle close, which closes in 5.5 hours. Now, what matters here is what this candle looks like when it closes, because right now we have a decent sized upper wick, but we're still looking very bullish in terms of the size of the body of the candle. So good for continuation in the month of September, in my opinion, if we close right around where we are now. But once we go to the lower time frames, you'll see it's looking like we're going to continue down, at least in the short term, a bit further. So from a monthly perspective, we're looking for our monthly lower high to be set somewhere below this previous high here at 65.1. And the reason for that is because of the magnitude of this move down here. We drew down about 55%, so it's likely when we come back up, we're going to have to form a lower high before coming down again. So that's what I'm watching in the monthly time frame. If we go to the weekly time frame, we can see that what I've been talking about over the past several days is playing out exactly as we talked about, which is really that we're starting to lose that momentum here on the weekly time frame and start to curl and come down to try and form our higher low somewhere above the previous low here at 29,254. The closer we set that higher low to the previous high here at 50,594, that it's not technically a high yet until we break the low, but it looks like it's likely going to be. And I said, once we got this candle close at the beginning of the week, it's likely that we're going to see a drawdown to that level. If we take our measurement tool and we say, let's say we took a short as soon as this candle closed, and we're taking it down to the bottom of that candle, that's about a 5% trade. So it's pretty decent trade intra-week. So we will be looking for a higher low to be set, and right now I'll talk about that on the daily time frame on where I think that will be. So from a daily perspective, we have really a couple levels to watch, but briefly let's talk about the 3-day levels that we're looking at. We have our 3-day blue level right here, which is from our bull trend, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. And then if we pull this over, we can see, that when we come back into this level, we get this bounce right here. We get this long lower wick of people buying the dip, we get a bounce, and now we're coming into it again. Now, if we go below the low here from August 26th, that will end up making this our weekly high, and therefore we're going to be looking for a higher low to be set somewhere below that low. The main resistance zone is this gray resistance zone right here, which is our 3-day level back here from March 2nd that we've been talking about for several days. So you can go back and watch past videos if you'd like to get a more in-depth analysis on that. But really it's just from a bull trend right here. And then obviously seeing that this was support, and then resistance. We come into it here, now it's resistance, and now we're coming into it a third time. It looks like we're rejecting off for the third time. So this blue level has only been tested once though, so it's likely this level will hold again for a second test. If we go down to the daily time frame, we can see that right now we are looking very good for a push below this low here. And this low is, like I said, the weekly low from last week. So if we come down and we go below that low, what will happen is we will make this our weekly high, like we said, and we'll also look to be forming our higher low somewhere below, somewhere above this previous low back down here. So where is that higher low going to be set? I think it's going to be somewhere inside of these green EMAs, which are conveniently right below that key low. That's like right where they start, and then they go all the way down to about roughly about 42,600. So really anywhere in that zone I think is a good buying opportunity, given that this indicator is a collection of exponential moving averages, and when they're flipped green like this is where you have the longer term EMAs, the investor EMAs as they're called, below the faster EMAs. So this is when you're in a strong bull trend, you see these green EMAs emerge. When you're in a strong bear trend, conversely, this is what you see. You'll see the fast EMAs be dark blue, and then you'll see the longer term, slower EMAs be dark red. And they provide strong resistance. So you can see here's a potential entry here, rejection, 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 until eventually we push above it. And we haven't touched these green EMAs yet, so this is an area that I'm looking to buy some Bitcoin if we come back into it. So that is where I'm currently thinking we may bounce from. If we go down to the 12-hour time frame, we can see that right now we're pretty much just chopping around. You can see that based on all this kind of nonsense here. No established trend here. Really, the reason why I think that is because I think the bulls are trying to protect themselves once we go down below this low and set our weekly higher low, because then when they come back up, there's not going to be much resistance there besides this 6-hour yellow level that I'll talk about in a second that we've tested like 5 times, and the red daily resistance level and the gray resistance level that we've already tested. But the red resistance level we've tested like 4 times as well, and the gray one now we're about to have tested 3 times. So all of those levels are getting weaker. So this is very good to see the chop coming down into this low, because although it can seem bearish, it's actually bullish in my opinion, because they're not establishing valid resistance levels on the way down. They're just kind of making their way down by chopping around the price. So there's no established bear trend here. It's just kind of price action bouncing around and making its way down to that weekly level. If we look at the 6-hour time frame, we can see our yellow resistance level here that we had from our bear trend. So we have a high, low, lower, high, lower, low. And you can see that we come into this level here, rejection, come into it, rejection, rejection, rejection. We got close to here. So we've rejected off this like 4 or 5 times now. So when we come back above this at some point in the future and we close above it, a very simple way to play this is once you close above it and we close 2 candlesticks above it and we come back into it, we start to trail downwards. What we can do is we can take our long position tool, we can pull that out, we can say, okay, this is clearly an established resistance zone here. So once we go above it and close 2 candlesticks above it, since we've tested it so many times, this should probably be a pretty strong level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go long on that with my stop loss below the level. And then I'm going to pull this up to the top of the gray zone, because that's ultimately where I think we're going to go to. So you can see that if that were the case, pretty good risk reward ratio there of 3.22 if we were to end up having that trade play out. So that's one possible trade that could play out in the future that I'm looking at. It's a matter of going above this 6-hour zone and closing 2 6-hour candlesticks above it. So that's what I'll be watching for. So that's all I got for this one, guys. If you like this video, give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And if you haven't already, check out our beginner technical analysis course that we have on Leutheria.com. You can find the link for that in the description below, and that will give you 20% off your course. We're going to learn everything from trend analysis to technical analysis to a variety of other things as well. So definitely check that out. And until tomorrow, onward and upward.